So we're in Dublin for Fuse 24. I'm here with Cayetano Carbajo, who is Core and Transport Director at the Global CTIO's office at Telefónica. Cayetano, great to see you again. Thanks so much for joining us here on TelecomTV. So the annual Fuse event is always a great time to catch up with all the different strands of development in the telecom network in terms of openness and disaggregation. And always a lot of talk about Open RAN, but there's so much more happening, and you're very focused on the optical space. Can you tell us what you were chatting about here at Fuse and the updates and the developments from the optical group at TIT?
Yeah, in fact, not only optical. In Telefónica, we are focusing openness and disaggregation as one of our key levers for evolving the network, and we are using that in all the network layers. We are actively pushing Open RAN, as you know. We are pushing disaggregation in IP and optical, both in transport, but also in fixed access. We have Open OLT, and even we can push in the CP in the home environment. So everywhere we are pushing for openness and disaggregation. The main reason of that is that we need to increase the level of automation, and we believe that disaggregated product can enable us to do more automation because they are presenting standardized interfaces, but also reducing TCO with disaggregation. When talking about transport, that is what you are asking for, we have been working in IP disaggregation, but in optical, we are doing today partial optical disaggregation, and we see there, we are doing that already in the network massively, and we can do that already. In other areas of the network, we are more depending on the evolution of the technology or in the scale, but in the case of the optical, we can do, and we are leveraging already some of the benefit that I mentioned before. So happy to see this already working in our production network.
Okay. And how is this playing into how Telefónica sees its networks evolving? Because in a few years, or certainly by the end of this decade, a telecom's infrastructure is going to look very, very different to what it did at the start of the decade, right?
Well, fortunately, in our job, it's evolving always quickly. And I started 30 years ago in this industry, and every year we see the evolution and we see things changing. What is the beauty of our job? This is the case now as well. We are changing a lot our network. For instance, remember that in Telefónica in Spain, we have switched off copper network. We have no more copper. We have been one of the first on having that. We have deployed massively 5G SA, but certainly, as you said, at the end of the decade, everything will be fiber and 5G, and maybe we will be ready to implement the next mobile generation. But it's not only that. I think there are clear needs that we have to tackle with. For instance, AI, that everybody's talking about AI, and a lot of people is talking about how AI can help in increasing the efficiency of the network by automation. But there's another angle, that is what we have to do in network for facing the challenges that AI pose. Delivering AI services will not be easy. The level of traffic will increase, maybe more uplink than downlink. There will be the need of low latency because many of the AI inference applications will need low latency. So we need to distribute edge, we need to distribute our core nodes. We will need a very efficient transport network. And I think by the end of the decade, all this transformation has to be done. We need certainly to treat traffic in a different way, meaning there will be applications that will need specialized services with more stringent requirement in terms of latency or throughput, and all this implementation, I think, will be evolving during the years, and certainly will be a reality at the end of the decade, as you mentioned.
What kind of demands does this put on the ecosystem in terms of delivering the underlying technology that will enable this? Because You know, when we first started in the industry talking about virtualization, everybody was like, oh, you can just, you know, get a commercial off-the-shelf server and run a network on that, but it doesn't really work like that, does it? I mean, the chipsets have evolved, but is there a requirement for, you know, specific underlying IT infrastructure to support what companies like Telefónica need to do?
It depends on which network layer you are thinking. For instance, in the core network, we are, from a lot of time already, we are running our network function on top of the self x86 server. We're buying the LHP server, and we have a specialized cache in some cases, but we are running on top of the self server. So in core, this is a reality. If centered in other areas, this will take a while. I don't know if finally this will evolve there, and there will be areas in which disaggregation and off-the-shelf component, it is more difficult to be achieved.
Okay.
But I think this disaggregation should not be a goal in itself. So we should not do disaggregation just for having a disaggregated network.
Yeah.
So we have to do disaggregation for having a more automated and a more efficient network. And if a given network layer disaggregation is not bringing us this achievement, we will not do that. So I don't know if, for instance, in a service router, LPE, it will be more efficient and more automated, a disaggregated one than a conventional one. If this is not the case, I will use the conventional one. It is not. I'm not paid for using disaggregated network. I'm paid for.
You're looking for the best solution.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
But normally, I mean, what we are seeing is that the usage of disaggregated element is going around all the network, and we are using more and more in many network layers.
So finally, obviously, you know, here at Fuse, a lot of the companies that are involved in pushing this kind of innovation forward, they're here. For Telefónica and for yourself and what you're trying to achieve, what do you need next from this community? What do you want to see in 2025 that would help you take your strategy to the next level?
In general, for the disaggregation solution, we need scale. And this is a problem not only of this company, of the supply companies, but also for operators.
Yeah.
We need more operators to engage with the openness and increase the scale. If we have a scale, the economics of this company and the product they are delivering to us will change and will make disaggregation affordable. Because as I said, if we have not the right TCO, it will be very difficult to come to disaggregated solution. So scale is clearly needed, and it's not only a problem of the vendors; it's a problem as well of the operators.
Okay, well, that's not the first time I've heard that request in the last couple of days. So the message is going out pretty clear for everybody to get involved and make this a reality. Cayetano, thanks very much for joining us today. Great to talk to you again, and look forward to chatting again in 2025.
It is my pleasure. See you in 2025 then.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.